All right, so let's go ahead and import that in and see if it works with our version of it. So I'm just going to do a test insert for this just to see if it fits. So if I go to insert and import CAD and grab that 3D roof and open it, right, you can see it's still not quite large enough. Like it's running, we need to make it a little wider and a little longer. So I'll go in and do maybe even make the top a little wider, instead of just the bottom. So let's go back to Rhino and I'll just undo this, right? So if I go back to Rhino and I pick this guy, right? And you could either do, I guess, the whole thing or just the piece. So if I were to delete this, I could actually do a 3 point, let's do a line here, like go in and sort of do a 3 point here, 1, 2, 3, and flip that plane and then maybe scale this guy. Whoops, let's just pick it and scale it, right? So maybe pull it a little wider, right? And a little longer, and it's keeping it in the same plane, right? And then let's go ahead and 3 point this guy, 1, 3, and then we'll pick this curve and let's scale it a little bigger too and see if that will get what we need. So then I can pick, right, these two guys. This one, whoops, this one, right, and then this one, and let's loft it. Whoops. Curve and curve, right? Click OK, and then we'll file export selected. 3D roof, save that. Yes. Click OK. And then let's go back to Revit and let's insert that and test it again. So I'll just import it, grab that 3D wall, or sorry, 3D roof, and click open. We're almost there, right? So it's a little odd, right? Because the canting of the planes doesn't make them congruent anymore. So maybe, because if we move that forward, it's a little tricky, right? Like still needs to be wider here and a little longer here, right? To get that guy to work and overlap at the same time. So it's a little tricky. So I'm going to go back and adjust it again and get it, to the point where it works. All right. All right, so I adjusted it a little bit and fudged it and got it in here, close to what we kind of want. So I've got this guy. If I just undo it and get it out of here, I'm going to bring it back in a conceptual mass. See, I kind of moved it around, but if I go to architecture, component, model in place, go grab the mass, click OK, right, and we'll name it roof. And then I'll go to insert and import CAD and grab that 3D roof, click open. Right now I'm just going to grab it and unpin it, and I'm just going to move it forward a little bit, and then you can see it's kind of still coming through. So I'll go to the south elevation, and you can see I can move it up a little bit too, once I unpin it. So you can kind of get it into, a space, that is about right. I'm not gonna kill ourselves here. And then what I want to do is select. So I'm in the mass and I'm going to hover over that. I'm going to tab in until it gives me that surface, and I'm going to divide that surface. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So tab in, and then divide that surface. So we've got those guys. And then I can pick that surface, and I can go ahead and go to surface representation and turn on the nodes, right? I'll do it on one side for right now. And so the division, if I pick that division, which is on top of the surface, you know, you get the 12 and the 1. So let's say, let's see what happens if I do 1 that way. Yeah, then that's the opposite. So let's do 12, and then I'll do 1 this way. So if I did that, I could go over here and drag out like a 2-point louver, right? And put that on here, right? And it's now putting that louver on, and if I pick that, I can repeat it, right? And it'll repeat it around. I can pick the division itself. So if I tab select in and grab that division, I can come in and say, oh no, I want 20 of those, right? And now there's 20 of them. And if I come in and pick this guy and go to edit type, it'll bring out, right, the angle. So if I wanted it to be at 40 degrees, I can hit apply, right, and it'll do 40 degrees. So you can see it kind of running around at 40. You could flip it out for other 2-point. So if I wanted a 2-point tube, you know, I could just have it go around with a 2-point tube. Some of the other things you can do is like, if I delete this and grab this, and let's make it 20 by 10, right? So I have more divisions in there. Then I can go in and grab the 2-point louver with angle. This is going to be really big and look a little weird, but I can do it sideways and repeat that, and it'll sort of, it's a lot of them, right? Because I just made 200 of them, I guess, about. So it's, you can see it. So now I have this sort of shingled version of it. And again, you can go in and if I pick it, you could flip it. So, and let's do, let me delete this guy, and I'll come in and grab, let's grab the flap arc, right? And this is a 4-point, so it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And this one, if you can do it before or after you repeat it, but you can see there's a material here. And if I go in and, oh, let's just put aluminum on one side, aluminum with a color, maybe a red aluminum, like that. And then for the flap 2 material, I don't know, fabric, some kind of, there's a canvas, something that has weathered leather, right? Okay. So now that'll have leather on one side, and if I pick that and repeat it, right, it'll repeat itself, and you'll get this kind of spiky looking thing based on the settings for the flap, right? So you'll see that guy come in, and if I, let's go to edit type and see what comes up in the type. There's the, so if I put this down to 1 foot, right, and apply and click OK, right, it just takes it a long time to do it because there's a lot of them, right? So now that guy is creating kind of a shell, all right? But it is a repeatable thing. So if I finish the mass, you can do obviously the other side as well. Then I can go into my massing and site and tell it not show mass by view settings. And in this view, apparently the masses are turned on. So if I go to my visibility graphics and go back and turn off the masses, then you'll get, you know, just the stuff. And if you don't, obviously if you don't need that anymore, delete it, right? right? So you're starting to get that. I guess the next thing we would need to do is this little rim piece, right? So, anyway, we can do that. I'll do that maybe tomorrow.